volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough.
Turn my headphone down a little bit. Yeah. 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 How much money you got? 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 A lot. How much money you got? A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How many people done doubted you? A lot. Left you out to rot? A lot. How many pray that you flop? A lot. How many lawyers you got? A lot. How many times you got shot? A lot. How many you shot? A lot. How many times did you ride? A lot. How many done died? A lot. How many times did you cheat? A lot. How many times did you lie? A lot. How many times did she leave? A lot. How many times did she cry? A lot. How many chances she done gave you? Around with these thighs. Every day that I'm alive, I'ma ride with this stick. I'd rather be broke in jail than be dead and rich. Told my brothers take my breath if I turn to a snitch. But I'm 21 for L, ain't no way I'ma switch.
Out to 21 Savage. We're going to be getting into some 21 news later on this hour. You were locked into hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, it's Wednesday, and I am joined by the Keep It Real friend of the show, Trent Jackson. Trent, the artist. So we were just talking about, video vixens and all of that relevance, blah, 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 things of that nature. I thought this was an interesting kind of story. We've been hearing about a lot of rappers and artists coming out about Lil Nas X and his new project that he has coming up. And, sort of has been the thing. I can't remember what song it started with on his last album, but he's been poking a lot of fun at religion, religious deities, things of that nature, sort of turning it on its head. We all know that as far as sexuality and religion, there's definitely a space that there's a lot of unspoken trauma on both sides that has been inflicted, by not being accepting. The rule of Christianity is supposed to be love thy neighbor, love everyone, but doesn't always do that. So I guess this is Nas' way of striking back. However, we've heard a couple of different artists come out and speak out about him. Most recently, Young Jock of Love and Hip Hop fame. We know he has a song from back in the day.
No, that's the wrong one. I always get them confused.
What, Young Jock and Benzino?
Jeezy.
Oh, Jeezy. Mm-hmm. And Jeezy was the one married to Jenny May.
Yes, I'm like, wait, isn't he going through a divorce? He got something to say?
So Young Jock said that he feels as though his extreme actions are actually going to hurt him. And he's wondering if he will have sustainability in the industry with a celeb status, because he feels that right now everything is stunts and shows and people really like the music from him. And now that has nothing to do with why we're really interested or why the audience is paying attention or looking forward to. Nobody's pushing and asking, as he's pushing these imagers out and teasing them. Well, where's the music? We want to hear from you. It's all about the controversy. So he feels that people are going to be desensitized to him and his antics based on that. So, what are your thoughts on that, Trent?
Isn't the whole industry built on tricks and antics and smoke and mirrors and drama and chaos and
But
all
does but
this?
is it always? But here's the thing. Yes, there are moments of that, but is it always needed? And sometimes, a lot of times, we've seen it backfire, especially as we've stepped into this social media era, where it is the delicate balance of making sure that you are relevant and still out there, but
I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying people really have to stop picking and choosing what they want to pick and choose on. So we just said an hour ago that people were getting married for publicity. Okay, you're literally taking something that's supposed to be a union of God and you're disrespecting the vow of marriage with a publicity stunt. So you're mad at Little Nas because he's poking fun at religion, okay? Also making fun of the religious institution like marriages. So he's taking it to a spectrum that you're not really used to. So now you're calling him out for it. So what do you want him to do? Because people have been using these same tactics for years. The whole industry is built on it. So now you're mad because he's taking it too far. What's too far? The bar changes every time. What is the bar on too far?
But do you think that he does have a point about it overshadowing his music or his talent in that capacity?
People can't pick and choose what it is because the kiss between Britney and Madonna was too far off the register, right?
For a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, it was. But both of them have kind of had resurgences since then. So I think that people have very short memories. People often forget.
You know, it didn't do anything for Christina, and she was there too.
It didn't. But we also know that she really wasn't. She was a part of it, but it didn't have the same kind of effect because I think she is a person that in our minds, because she can sing and we prefer her versus the dancing and the lip syncing from Madonna and Britney, that she didn't really need to pull a stunt for us to like her or make her memorable.
So that's the question with Little Nas
Yes.
X, because he's talented, yeah.
I think
And
that he feels that he has to do stunts because, again, there's an industry that's built on stunts. He got in on stunting. And because there's so much, I think, honestly, that he's trying to take away from the fact that people are having a conversation about his sexuality. I think he's giving somebody else something to talk about other than him being gay.
Okay, I think that's fair. I would like, so, I like
Because
a
he
li-
wants it to be about the music or, everything except his sexuality.
Do you think that he regrets utilizing it as one of the components to his career?
What, coming out?
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
interesting. Do you think he could have just, you know, in the words of the old military, don't ask, don't tell. Like it is what it is. I'm not
No,
putting it full out there, but I'm not gonna make it a personality trait for my artistry.
there's a way. So, and this is because I'm in the same position, right? I remember when I was on my second book tour. This was 15, 20 years ago at this point. And somebody pulled me to the side and said, you know what, Trent? Stop saying that you're a gay author. And I looked, I said, what do you mean? But
Just say you're an author.
yeah. But because I was writing subject matter about black gay material, that was the label. Somebody told me to stop using it. And I said, okay. I stopped using it. And something interesting happened. More people liked me. And the audience grew when I dropped the gay author part of it. So I think in the position that people want to know, people are curious, right? And you can say something and people can know, but you don't have to keep bringing it up because they know. And addressing it one time is enough and it suffices. Now, there are some people that are curious. They want to know if you're dating or what kind of stuff you're into. That kind of thing happens, but it's so much easier to navigate around that versus the continual conversation about your sexuality.
Okay, being coy works. I'm for that. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into 21 Savage and his comments about parenting. And I also have an update on that movie with Donald Glover. We'll get into all of that on the other side.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyaudio.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyaudio.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your Black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So before we move on from this Lil Nas X topic, I just want to say that, the comments will get you. And so someone in the comments came and said that, Jock, all the gimmicky stuff that you've done, you can't even speak on this. The permed hair, didn't he shave his eyebrows off once? Come on. And Jock responded back saying, trying to level up to the lowest point in my career, I haven't done anything to make the church angry. I haven't done things to make mothers and fathers angry. My career has done me well. Music, TV, radio, movies. I said what I said. So that is where we will leave it with that and see what happens. So 21 Savage, in a recent interview with Club Shay Shay, I'm not sure if the full thing has been released yet, but it's coming. And 21 revealed that he believes the key to better parenting lies with parents who are not financially stable. So let's take a listen to his reasoning.
I be feeling like I don't be doing all the way my job because of my job
Right.
type. So I be trying to like balance that out, like trying to like, it's like you work to receive, to gain all this success and all the good, but it's like, I feel like the best parents, in my opinion, is parents that don't got it all. I feel like broke parents are better than rich parents, in my opinion, because when you broke, you got way more time type.
Right.
So you there for like a lot of the, like, yeah, gifts and matter, but they don't matter at the same time.
Sometimes all a kid needs is time.
Facts.
Your time.
Facts.
Something that a gift can't replace.
Facts.
So those are 21 Savage's thoughts. Trent, you said you agree with him, so share with us.
This is no slight to any parent that has money. I have lots of friends who grew up very privileged. Celebrities' kids, the whole super rich. Even I'll use my ex, grew up super privileged. And I just remember some of the conversations that we had, and it's a common thing with all of my friends who grew up privileged, is that they wish that their parents spent more time with them and were more loving, and they didn't just have material things to kind of make up for the lack that they got. And it's kind of sad, because you think about it, it's like you have all this stuff, but you don't receive the love from your parent. But also at the same time, the parent is working to provide the love, so it's a double-edged sword. But I see what he's saying, and I agree with it to an extent. I think that you can have both if you make the time, but also I think the generation that we're in, our parents, that was their way of showing love, and they did not have the tools to have a work-life balance or whatever that is. So I think now people have the tools and the mindset to spend more time with their children and not just pump them with material stuff. It's a nice balance in both.
So I'm curious as to why the thought process is, because I know people who had parents that were, perhaps not as privileged as some, right? And their parents worked a lot too.
Yeah.
And, put in a lot of hours. I think I understand his point that kids would much, especially the younger they are, would much rather have you there, your input and your time, sometimes than a new toy or, the latest whatever, which is true, But I also think that money is not necessarily the thing that separates that. I think that it is more your preparedness and what you make time for. As you mentioned, in generations before, nurturing wasn't
different.
thought of in the same way that it is now. And, we come from an era, children are to be seen and not heard. Children aren't supposed to have a voice. Like, as long as your physical needs are,
Yes.
provided for, you don't have any complaints. You don't have any wants,
Right.
And they probably came from a similar environment, that stuff is
I had
passed
to
down.
walk to school with holes in my shoes.
All of that, all of those things. So I think the idea that just because a parent has money means they're going to be neglectful is another way to. One, I think he's speaking from his own guilt,
Yes.
as he mentioned.
Yes.
Because a touring artist, I like you, I went to school with, friends whose parents were actors or athletes or singers. And, you're right. Sometimes those relationships were really tricky, really tricky. And there's a lot of other things that can be slipped in the mix. But I also feel as though it wasn't the money that was causing some of those tricky things, you know?
Mhm.
It's about where you are mentally, because we always hear this, but there's no guidebook to being a parent. There are books on parenting,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
you don't know what you're going to get with your child. You don't know the impact that your child is going to have on you because of their personality. So it's always a work in progress. And you have to be committed to finding that time, finding that, and knowing your child, because there's some kids that, you know, they don't want to be, family time, mom all up or dad all up in the mix doing everything. They're like, okay, we're good. I'm going to go my way. So I think that there are a lot of things at play, but I, I, I think that something that I've noticed that we do, as far as I feel the black community, is that at times we demonize success or the trappings of it because it seems at times so out of reach to us. So we have to, everything has a good and bad side.
Mhm.
But I think sometimes we highlight or pull out from success the negative aspects that we see brought up to justify why it's okay that it didn't happen for us, to make us feel a little bit better, you know? And I think that sometimes it makes me sad because I know that it is, you know, a trigger reaction sometimes to our lot and how where we have been placed and the obstacles that are placed in front of us as black people as a whole. But I also don't like that some of us place ourselves as victims in every situation, because I feel like we are so much more than that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, it sucks that we have to continue to overcome, and the greatest challenge ever, but we are a resilient people, and that is part of what makes us dynamic. So to always, even when we are being victimized, to take the role as a victim, I just think is very sad and not going to help move us ahead. So those are my thoughts. Thomas Outlaw says, nah, you can spend time and still be poor, piss poor morally. That is facts. I would rather be raised by Uncle Phil wearing a Gordon Gartrell. I heard that. I know that's right, Thomas. Terry said, loving parents is the answer. The other things are second and third. Facts. Urban Spinster says, Depression era grandparents raised the boomers who raised Gen X. Latchkey kids were very prevalent in the 80s. Parents were working and barely making it sometimes. This is true. I went to, after school care for a certain point. And then when I was ready to break out, I thought I was grown, got the key to go home and was very excited. But you come home to your own devices, and
Mhm.
that was before cell phones and things of that. You had a house phone, you
Mhm.
could get that popping,
Yeah.
but it was just, you and a Three's Company rerun, some snacks in the kitchen, and if you wanted
Yes.
to try that danger, invite some friends over. But
Mm-mm.
I, you know, I think it is sad that we oftentimes demonize success or the value that can come with money because it seems so out of reach to us. So, those are my thoughts on that. Now, let's talk about this American Dream biopic that was leaked a couple weeks ago with a trailer and everything. Well, it's not real. It was an elaborate prank, I think, also to get people ready for this upcoming album that 21 says, but he said it was a parody and he thought everyone would know. But it's like you got Caleb and Donald in it, and your story to a degree is intriguing. So they're making a lot of movies, so why not you? We took it seriously. He said, I feel like it could be a real movie. Maybe one day. They'll hate on it now, though, because they'll be like, what the bleep does 21 Savage deserve a story for? What did he do? You
He
know,
knows. He knows how to read the room.
I mean, fair enough,
We have to appreciate that.
Yep. I like 21 Savage. I like his rhymes. I love that he loves R&B. You you don't have an opinion on him? 'Cause
I mean, he's cool or whatever.
he's like, whatever, it's not
I
my
mean,
thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in my age bracket, so I don't think he's for me.
He's not in your. So you only like music that matches your age bracket.
Kinda.
So what about when you were a kid and you listened up?
It matched my bracket.
Oh, so you've always
It
been
spoke to
40
me.
years old?
It spoke to me. Yes, I was listening to Pebbles singing them songs. Didn't know what they was talking about.
Giving them the benefit and what have you.
Pumping it.
Okay. All right, I feel that.
No, but 21's cool. I just think he's for the young kids.
For the kids.
Yeah, for the college kids.
And what have you. Okay.
And the 30-somethings.
Making it hot.
Yeah.
Listen.
I mean, if I was hanging out with the Ratchets, and with my little sister or something like that, then maybe she don't even listen to 21 Savage.
You got to go with what you like.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice.
Now, my other sister in Chicago, she might be in the 21. She's in her. She's a 30-something.
She's a 30-something.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
So she dips back a little bit.
Yeah, she's in there.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. So recently, and this kind of goes along with the conversation that 21 raised, talking about rich parents, and I think this is more of a determiner. Eve, in a recent interview, said that she's happy to be an older mom. She said that, and this is something that Gabrielle Union said also, because she's older, she's had a chance to examine certain habits, certain generational things that she picked up and unlearn some of those things so that she could be a better parent for her child. Gabrielle said something similar. She basically said she would have jacked her kid up if she would have had a kid earlier because she had to unlearn some of the things that you pick up. And I think that there is a lot of truth to that because, you're calmer, your emotional intelligence has probably kicked in. You are more equipped to sort of deal with the balances, perhaps, and flares, that can come up having a young child. You might have more patience, you might feel more settled. So I can certainly understand that, but I think that is something, more than simply saying rich, bad, poor, good, they're going to have more time or thing. There are poor parents that don't have any time for their children because they're trying to figure out, how do I keep this up? So I don't know, but I thought that was very introspective and very fair. And I think that has much more to do with the type of parent you have, where they're at mentally and what they are ready to take on, because you're living for two.
And there was some projection in there too on his part, like you said earlier.
Yeah. So when we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
And that really me up. My brother lost his life and it turned me to a beast. My brother got life and it turned me to the streets. I've been through the storm and it turned me to a G. But the other side was sunny. I get paid to rap on beats. How much money you got? A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How many people done doubted?
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A bill designed to prevent the removal of historical monuments is making its way through the Florida legislature. A Senate committee approved a measure that would stop local governments from removing or destroying statues. The move comes as the city of Jacksonville continues its fight over Confederate monuments after the mayor removed one from a city park last month. A former Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy has been sentenced to a year and a half in federal prison after violating a man's civil rights. In 2020, Christopher Hernandez was one of two deputies who threw a man in a patrol SUV after he told them to leave two young black men alone at a skate park. The victim was then injured after one of the deputies crashed during a pursuit with him still in the back seat. Hernandez pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy in July. His former partner has already been sentenced to 2 years in federal prison for his role in the incident. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, home of the 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm sad. She says she keeps the upper hand, 'cause she can please her man. She doesn't use her love to make him weak. She uses love to keep him strong. And inside me there's no room for doubt that it won't be too long before I tell her that I love her, that I want her, that my mind, soul, and body need her. Tell her that I love to, that I want to, that I need to do all that I have to be in her love.
Had to let that Stevie vibe right there, that girl. I feel like that was 81-ish, right? Wasn't this also on the I Just Called to Say I Love You album? 82, okay. I was gonna say 82 at first, but I was like, let me go 81 to be safe. Okay. Shout out to that. See how good that still sounds? What is that, 42 years
42
later?
years.
42
The year
years.
I was born.
Okay. Ew. Shout out to 82 in the building. So, listen, just last week I talked about how 50 Cent might quietly be uplifting black women as far as their pay status with, the pay that he got Mary J. Blige, him bringing Monique to BMF when at the time she was essentially blackballed.
Yeah,
so
wasn't
it
nobody using her.
seemed.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Wasn't nobody using
Yeah.
her. Mhm.
And so, him saying, hey, I want to bring Taraji on, whatever. I know that 50 is a troll, since we've been talking about trolls tonight. But I do think that there is something in the proof is in the pudding. I know 50's petty and he does stuff and capitalizes, but at the same time, he has done these things. Well, just when I wanted to give 50 the benefit of the doubt, he does this. 50 has spun the block again on Tierra Marie. Now, I don't know if you remember, but
She still owes that man some money from a judgment that he had on
Yes.
her, and he wants his money.
he does. So what happened was back in 2018, Tierra Marie filed a lawsuit against 50 and her then ex-boyfriend Akbar Abdul Ahad for allegedly distributing what she deemed as revenge porn. So what happened was her ex released a tape of them in an intimate setting. 50 Cent reposted it and made a comment. So she sued him. According to Tierra Marie, her ex hacked her Instagram account, uploaded the explicit photos and videos. 50 comes into the picture. Like I said, he reposted the images to his socials, right? And so Tierra argued that his actions caused her significant long-term emotional injuries because, the images he reshared were viral, but he then wouldn't spread it to his millions and millions and millions of followers. Well, she lost that judgment, and right now she owes him $50,476. And 50 is coming to collect it's taxes and he needs a check really badly. He recently filed what is known as a writ of execution, and he filed it in Sacramento County, which is obviously up north towards the Bay. Well, in the Bay, I guess. Is Sacramento considered the Bay? Not really.
Kinda,
no.
but
it's
it's
Northern
Central
California.
California,
it's
really.
so in,
Northern,
so
yeah.
doesn't really count. But he filed it with the sheriff up there, and so Tierra's residence is in Georgia, but 50 says that she is hiding assets in California. Now, considering the circumstances and what he did, I understand he won the judgment and he is owed this money, but I even feel like the judgment ruling in his favor was wrong. Do you think that 50 should still continue to pursue this legal outlet to get this money from someone who has admitted, I ain't got it? Trent?
This seems more personal to me than anything.
Right.
He's trying to prove a point.
Right.
She probably told him he was ugly or something like that, or denied
Turned him down in the day.
Yeah, and it's like, well, he probably feel like, well, you a toss up and a pass around. You gonna say no to me, but you done been with X, Y, and Z, and they had a back and forth, and now he's doing this.
Because he is relentless. I'm like, it's $50,000. 50. You probably spend that in a day.
That's his light bill in a month,
right? So you're going so hard on her for this when she was clearly the victim in this circumstance. Like, you can't sit there and feel good like you were okay with reposting a sex tape for her with a joke. I just don't see how that's fair. But,
it's Curtis being Curtis.
Curtis being Curtis, the best way to dub it. Well, continuing on our entertainment and rappers and interesting commentary and parenting, Tip T.I., he in a recent interview, he shared that he did not want his children to go into the entertainment industry. He said that we have enough entertainers. We need more lawyers, doctors, etc. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Daughters.
Okay.
Because this baby girl is just taking the world by storm. Eris is everywhere. I'm like, wait, I look up, I'm like, she's singing. I remember seeing on social when she had a vocal coach, I think at like 3. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's staying busy, man. She stays busy.
So how is it to support your daughters in such a male-dominated industry?
To be honest with you, I never wanted them involved. I never really wanted them involved. I and not just my daughters, none of my children.
They all there now.
I know it, right?
Like, what you under?
That's what I get for wanting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, you didn't want them in the business?
Nah, man. I just know how much treachery, how much betrayal, how much, how much of the dark side exists in this, and I never wanted to expose them to that. I always wanted them to be able to, tailor make their own path and create their own motion coming from different areas, given the influence that we've already created in this industry. I wanted one of my kids to dive into real estate. You know what I mean?
I mean, you deep there.
So, yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. But I should be able to hand that to them. You know what I'm saying? Also, man, I think that it's not enough lawyers, doctors, engineers, architects. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough of them in the world, coming from our households. We got 1,000 rappers, producers, DJs, models, actors, actresses. Not that there's anything wrong with any of this, but I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, to keep us where we need to be, to get us post-metamorphosis, to allow us to evolve the way that I envision us evolving. I just feel like, we need more Thurgood Marshalls. We need more Ben Crumps. We need more, you know what I mean? Like, we need more than just entertainment. We can't entertain our way out of the slump that
That's good.
So when we come forward, we'll get into that. I want to get your reaction to that, Trent, and what you think. Because, I know a lot of entertainers don't necessarily want their kids to venture off into it. And I feel like the ones I know, it's about 50-50. So since you've grown up with kids that, have been in that environment too, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Cover California is a free service from the state that's already helped millions of people like you get and pay for health insurance. With financial help to lower the cost of health coverage, you could get a quality health plan for less than $10 a month. Every plan covers preventive care, doctor visits, emergency care, and more. If you have questions, we're here to help every step of the way. Cover California, this way to health insurance. Enroll by January 31st at coveredca.com.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So in a recent interview, T.I. said that he would have preferred that his children not enter into entertainment. He would have preferred if they were doctor, lawyer, Thurgood Marshall path, something like that. And, you know, I do think sometimes we, at least I don't even know if it's in actuality, but it certainly feels like that with social media, that we do over-index as far as entertainment. And, you know, I say this as someone who is sitting here in entertainment. It's known what I wanted to do for a long time, but I do understand that there are other options, even within entertainment. There are jobs behind the scenes. Everything doesn't have to be on the front side. Again, knowing that I'm sitting here doing the very thing, and it's what I, you know, in various capacities, something I've always wanted to do. But what was your experience like with your friends as far as their attitudes towards working in entertainment, seeing what their parents experienced and so forth?
That's stupid.
Entertainment?
Yeah, why would you want to do that? They shy away from it. They want as far as away from the industry as they can possibly get. And I think that is, it's interesting because I kind of understand the business, but I'm kind of like, I play the hokey pokey, you know, I got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I think a lot of my friends admire that because I orbit it, but I don't really want to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of around, and like I have an attitude. If I happen to get famous, so be it. But if I don't, that's cool too.
So for me, it was a little different. I had friends on both spectrums, right? And we talked a little bit about how it can impact the parental-child relationship, obviously, because of the demands from the job. But one thing that I do know that I've seen is that sometimes it's just because, you know, we talk about the imaginary or the conspiracy theories about what Hollywood is, what you have to do to make it. And there's a lot of, you know, in my opinion, fabrication in some of those stories. But there is some truth. And it is a difficult business. And sometimes it's like, why would I want to put my child up to suffer through that? or, to go through that, because we talked about it with Janet and the Jackson family. Nepotism helps. Nobody is denying that. But I also believe that it can only take you so far.
Correct.
The it factor is a thing.
It sure is, because LaToya just ain't got it.
She has some it. She just doesn't have the singing thing. Like, I think LaToya would.
She has the ick, but she does not have the factor.
I think had social media been around in the 80s, LaToya would have found her thing. She could have been a model or just, something like that.
LaToya, let me just say this. Paris Hilton stands on the shoulders of LaToya Jackson. Because before there was Paris Hilton and all these socialite girlies, it was LaToya Jackson and her headband at the parties in a yellow blazer.
Yellow blazer, sequins,
Yes.
let me tell you, showing out.
At every party.
And Heart Don't Lie was my single. I Cannot
Exactly.
Lie, her and Howard Hewitt. And there was something, what was on the B side of that? I can't remember. I liked that too. But, shout out to LaToya. Because all the 80s men wanted LaToya, baby.
Sure did.
And that in of itself was another problem. So this last story, right? We just came off of the Oscar nominations yesterday, right?
Oh, really? Did that happen yesterday?
It did. And so some people felt there were some snubs. They felt Barbie was snubbed. Others felt that The Color Purple was snubbed.
It will forever be snubbed.
The Color Purple?
They could rejudge that thing 8 times. It's
Well, I spoke about, like, it was a nice film, well put together, nice performances, but
so was the one in 1984.
For me, nothing compares to that. And I know that you're not supposed to compare because art is a singular thing that should be judged in each piece and not necessarily compared.
It's the same story. How
but
can
we
it not be
compare.
compared?
Huh?
It's the same story. How can it not be compared?
But yeah, how can it not? So Whoopi was speaking on people feeling that there were snubs for various natures and things like that. And Whoopi is obviously an Oscar winner herself, and EGOT. She hosted the Oscar 4 different times, and she's also served on the board of governors, right? So she has a little inkling, I would say, of how this thing goes and, what they look for, the politics of it, yada, 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 right? And so she was asked, when does it become a snub, right? And I like her answer. She said that everybody doesn't win, and you don't get everything you want. There are no snubs. She said that what you have to keep in mind is not everybody gets a prize, and it's subjective. Movies are subjective. The movies you love may not be loved by the people who are voting, right? And I was having this conversation with a mutual friend of ours, right?
Oh, really?
And yeah, he goes by He Hates sometimes.
Oh, our celebrity actor friend.
That's right. So shout out to him. And he was saying he was going to start a movement because he feels that people need a guidebook to understand sometimes what a quality performance is. Like, I, as a TV and film critic, I recognize that there are some things that I watch and I enjoy it, but would I consider it a classic or a masterpiece? Not necessarily, but that doesn't mean that I enjoy it any less or that it shouldn't, I don't want it to make a lot of money or be extremely popular. But what are your thoughts on, what sometimes feels like we are begging for constellation prizes in some of these things? Because sometimes a thing can just be a thing, a good thing, and it doesn't necessarily have to get these awards, or we don't have to cry. Because sometimes, in my opinion, for example, Danielle Brooks was nominated for Best Supporting Actress from The Color Purple. And by far and away, she was my favorite performance in this musical version of it. Amazing, stellar, well-deserved. But I don't necessarily think that I would have cast my vote for Fantasia as Best Actress. think that there are other performances that were stronger. And that's not me saying Fantasia didn't do a good job. So what are your thoughts on that?
For once, I agree with Whoopi. Everybody can't win, but I also think that we've gotten accustomed to lackluster performances, and we think that they are these great raving things, and they're actually not. So I think the bar has been set so low about what we think it is that we just kind of take anything, and we're excited to see all black people, and we're rooting for everyone black, no matter if it's good or bad.
I agree with that. And do you think that that is something that we can overcome? Because obviously it's an overcorrection, a reaction to us being ignored in our priceless works being so things. But
it's exactly that. And can it be corrected? Only when equality is a part of the equation.
So we got a long wait.
Yes. if it ever happens, don't hold your breath.
Listen, it is Wednesday. Thank you, Trent Jackson, Trent the Artist, for joining us. Hit him up and follow him on social media at Trent the Artist. Any parting words before we go?
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
And have a great week.
Everybody else is taken. Tomorrow night, make sure you are locked in right here, 9 p.m. Pacific time, for more RSVP with Jill Munroe. We have an interview coming up with Maya Erskine, the star of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and interviews with the cast of In the Know, a new animated series from Mike Judd that will be dropping on Peacock, plus more trending topics and headlines. I hope that you have an amazing night. Be good. And if you can't be good,
Mike Judd is good.
Be amazing. Listen, thank you once again. When we come forward, you will be hearing the best of KBLA. Have an amazing night.